The indictment also details how on 2 occasions Trump allegedly showed off the documents to others. In one case, he was being recorded and he knew it. In July 2021, Trump met with 2 people working on a biography of his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. According to a transcript of the recording, Trump showed them a top-secret battle plan drawn up reportedly by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley. Trump was reportedly angry that General Milley had told a reporter that he had to keep Trump from attacking Iran in the last days of his administration. The indictment quotes Trump as saying, "I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack country A. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Department of Defense and him. Isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, you know, except it's like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. Look at this. You attack, and by the way, isn't that incredible? This was done by the military and given to me. I think we can probably rate." A staffer then answers, "I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to try to." Trump then says, "Declassify it. See, if I was president, I could have declassified it. But now I can't, you know. But it's still a secret." The staffer, "Yeah, now we have a problem." Trump, "Isn't that interesting?" Then, in May of 2022, Trump met with his lawyers after investigators issued a subpoena for his documents. A transcript of that conversation provided by Attorney 1 is in the indictment. It reads in part, quote, "Trump, I don't want anybody looking through my boxes. I don't want you looking through my boxes. What happens if we just don't respond or don't play ball with them? Wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here?" NewsNation Chief Washington correspondent Blake Burman has the very latest developments on this indictment and on the stunning details inside of it. Blake.
Elizabeth, good evening. Donald Trump already reacting to this federal indictment, not just on social media, though. Before this indictment was unsealed for the entire public to see, Trump announced that he would have a new lead attorney defending him in this case. In the 3 o'clock hour on Tuesday afternoon in Miami, Florida, the 45th president of the United States will appear inside a federal courthouse.
Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice.
A 44-page indictment with 37 counts and a first in the history of the United States. A federal grand jury indicting former President Donald Trump for his handling of classified documents after he left office. The special counsel, Jack Smith, contends Trump showed people who did not have clearances top secret information and knew that he shouldn't have. Captured on a recording, Trump is heard saying, quote, "See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, you know, but this is still a secret." The indictment alleges that when investigators went to get back classified documents in Trump's possession, he directed a personal aide, Walt Nauta, to conceal some documents. The now unsealed indictment includes a variety of photos inside Mar-a-Lago, showing boxes stacked in a bathroom shower and spread across a ballroom. There's also text messages, tape recordings, and Trump's own attorney memorializing events. According to the indictment, Trump suggested his attorney pluck out some classified documents before handing them back to investigators. It also alleges that Trump misled his own lawyer so that the former president could hold on to some state secrets.
Violations of those laws put our country at risk.
Trump responded on social media by writing in part, quote, "Biden moved his boxes all over the place, including to Chinatown and up to his lawyer's office in Boston. Why isn't deranged Jack Smith looking at that? Also, I supplied them openly and without question. Security tape from Mar-a-Lago. I had nothing to hide, nor do I now." While traveling in North Carolina, President Biden tried to keep himself at distance from the case and the Attorney General.
I have not spoken to him at all. I'm not going to speak to him. No comment about that.
And Elizabeth, what you just heard from President Biden there has been a theme for the last 22 hours or so. The White House is trying to keep its distance, and a significant distance at that, from this indictment.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.